Student loans are hard to escape, by design. This environment is not an accident. It is a calculated series of legal and mathematical choices. We grow up with the investment imperative, the conviction that higher education is the only reliable gateway to financial stability. Because we see a degree as an essential investment, we categorize the borrowing required to get there as good debt. We assume these loans function as standard consumer agreements, where repayment is simply a matter of personal discipline. This assumption hides the reality. Student loans are governed by a unique legal and mathematical architecture that removes the standard exits available in almost every other form of credit. The difficulty of exit begins with the legislative framework established here in the U.S. Capitol. While the American bankruptcy system offers a fresh start for credit card debt or medical bills, 30 years of specific legislative exemptions have isolated student loans from these standard consumer protections. Instead of a clear path to discharge, Congress implemented a standard known as undue hardship, but left the term undefined. In response, the judiciary developed the Bruner test. The Bruner test requires a borrower to prove that their inability to maintain a minimal standard of living will persist for most of the repayment period. For most struggling debtors, this requirement acts as an insurmountable legal wall. This legal structure ensures that the safety nets present in other forms of debt do not apply to the student borrower. Even if a borrower manages the legal complexity, they face an internal mathematical mechanism designed to ensure balances continue to grow: interest capitalization. Consider a $10,000 loan. Entering a 6-month forbearance doesn't just pause payments. The loan quietly accrues $340 in unpaid interest. Afterwards, that interest is capitalized, fused directly into the principal. Future interest is calculated on this new $10,340 foundation. This trigger transforms simple interest into a compounding obligation, causing the balance to accelerate even when the borrower attempts to resume payments. These mathematical triggers are managed by private loan servicers, companies that operate as the primary gatekeepers for borrowers. Investigations by the CFPB found that these servicers frequently steer struggling borrowers toward forbearance because it's cheaper and simpler to manage than enrolling them in complex repayment plans. By prioritizing their own operational costs, these institutions bypass income-driven plans that could prevent interest from piling up. The institutional path of least resistance effectively guarantees that the borrower's balance will balloon through capitalization. This system is the result of a convergence between non-dischargeable legal status, negative mathematical amortization, and misaligned institutional incentives. A degree remains a prerequisite for the middle class, but the debt structure required to obtain it prevents the accumulation of middle-class assets. The architecture of student loans has created a system of permanent indebtedness, a modern form of indentured human capital. The outcome is not a random failure of the market, it is structural. It is exactly what the system was designed to do.